Reacting is defined as responding or behaving in a particular way in reply to something. It is an action based on something that has happened. Most often, an external stimulant will provoke this type of behavior. From a law of attraction point of view, reacting can be seen as allowing reality to train a person in the way life will work for them. Creation is the exact opposite. It means to bring something into existence. When a person decides to create from an internal realm of self-control, imagination, and visualization, reaction becomes something that is no longer needed. Reactionary responses take a back burner because there is a complete denial of anything that is unwanted. This is the beginning step to training reality to conform to you. Perhaps we are only ever doing one or the other, creating or reacting. If a person is reacting to something, someone else is creating through them. Reaction is not creating, it is following the creative force of something else. Living in reactionary ways puts a person in the position of being a pawn regarding what is happening, rather than living from a space of creativity. In reaction, someone else's creation is manifested through the behavior and response. If actions are deliberate, by choice, it is known as an intention. Intention is action that leads to specific and purposeful manifestations. So, there is action, which is creative, and there is reaction, which is being governed by other creations. All too often, many people find themselves reacting in an emotionally negative way to what is happening around them. In addition, many reactions are preceded by the emotions of fear, guilt, anger, or sadness that produce knee-jerk responses to protect the ego. Effectively, this removes the personal power that each of us have. In other words, simply reacting to life creates what happens as a manifestation from the vantage point of fear and insecurity. This occurs when a person finds themselves focusing on what is wrong with who they are and what is happening in their life, which in turn produces more of the same. Through doubt in the ability to create life's outcomes and access the abundance that is everywhere, cyclical reaction comes from the feeling of lack and an expectation of hurt, failure, and disappointment. Reaction comes from a place of seeing the world as a competition for resources and love rather than realizing there is more than enough of everything for everyone. And as you already know, we manifest what we expect, not what we want. This is a protection mechanism that many learn from an early age. When we forget that we are magnificent beings with powerful creative abilities and that there is plenty of abundance, love, happiness, and fulfillment for all, we work in overdrive to guard ourselves from anything that is perceived as dangerous or uncertain and react accordingly. Through practice, there can be recognition of the ability to detach from struggle and a realization of the potential to master emotional responses that govern what is created in life. Following are 6 steps to go from reacting to creating. 1. Think about the meaning of your reactions and where they may have originally come from. There is a reason that you react as you do. These are old subconscious patterns that resurface to protect you. Therefore, it can be very helpful to understand your reactions and to try and remember the first time you had this type of reaction. Trace back as far as you can to recall when this pattern began for you. For instance, you might be impatient because you imagine failing to manifest what you truly want, and so you experience great anxiety and possible frustration. You might also realize that as you were a small child, there were adults that tended to be critical, leaving you to believe that you always fall short and don't have the ability to create what you truly want. 2. Observe the outcome of your reactions. What happens when you have these type of reactions? What are the consequences? Who is affected and how? Is it you that ends up feeling flat afterwards? By paying close attention to the results of your reactions, you bring any negative consequences to your awareness. This in turn offers motivation to begin changing any reactions to desired responses. With the previous example, you might note how your impatience offers resistance to what you truly want to manifest in your life. Impatience does not come from a place of allowing, which is an intricate part of the creation process. 3. Imagine better responses. Think about other ways to respond that place you in a position of creating. When you begin to see that you have the power to respond in a way that you choose, this makes you the creator of your actions. Imagine acting out these new responses and see what consequences are manifested because of them. Imagine what it would feel like to respond more in keeping with what you want for yourself. For example, in noticing that you were previously impatient, you might envision yourself responding calmly to a problem and then seeing the positive result that comes from that intentional action. The more you imagine doing this, the more natural it'll become to act in this way. 4. Create a more compassionate approach to yourself. Because personal change takes repetition and conscious effort to accomplish, it's important to support this process within yourself. Being critical will undermine your efforts. Reproducing feelings of failure only initiates what you previously experienced in life. And this continues a cycle that you are perfectly capable of moving past. Practice being understanding and patient with yourself, knowing that you merely need to break a pattern within your mind. Imagine how you would support a child learning to ride a bike, or a friend working to develop a new skill, and extend the same support to yourself as you create change in your life. 5. Become aware that others also carry self-doubt and fear, and extend compassion to them also. You can intentionally choose to trust that others are doing the best they know how based on what they learned as a small child, and in turn, how they see the world. This can diminish fear within because it produces the assumption that others are acting from good intentions. From this vantage point comes a new realization of personal power in the form of cooperation and communication that is more effective in producing harmony. Hold others as worthy, competent, loving, good-natured, and capable of creating win-win relationships rather than opponents. By making the conscious decision to champion others by looking for the best in them and interacting with them with appreciation for their gifts and positive qualities, they sense that you hold them as good and worthy, which provides a new and exciting opportunity for them to show up for you in this manner. Because all individuals are great when you strip away their fear, anger, and insecurities, there can be the decision to see them in that manner, which allows them the freedom to rise to your expectations. 6. Imagine a new version of yourself with all of the things that you would like to manifest in your life. What does this version of you look like? How does this new you behave? Place yourself in scenarios that may have once triggered a reaction and see how you now act as the person that has everything they want. Is there a difference in the behavior? Does this new you even care to react to the old circumstances that might have caused a reaction? Do these old circumstances even come up now that you've become a version of yourself that has everything they want? Take the time to develop a clear vision of this more ideal version of yourself. When you teach yourself to come from a place of creation rather than reaction, you develop new automatic behavioral responses that are of your choosing. Once this takes place, you begin to manifest intentionally and train your reality to conform to what you want rather than allowing it to train you and how you react. Learning to create intentionally is an incredibly powerful part of becoming the person you aspire to be. In the words of Viktor Frankl, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom.